She speaks to the camera like a friend, direct, familiar, half laughing, half worried. Hello everyone, Lee Too Deep begins, her voice warm and steady. How are you? Are you okay? If you're going through something, write it down in the comments. I can't reply to every message, but other people will see your words. We'll hold each other up. There is a softness behind the words, the kind you hear when someone is trying to reassure herself as much as she reassures others. Then, almost in the next breath, she shifts to a personal ache. I'm still waiting for James to propose, she says, and the note of longing is unmistakable. Lately he's been so busy. We speak less. She smiles, an attempt at courage. I hope he'll share more with me. Please follow my story. She signs off for a beat, with the affectionate shorthand she's used with her viewers before. Love you all. The camera pulls away from the introductory intimacy and into the rhythm of an ordinary morning on the farm, a world of small certainties. The cluck of hens, the rough-handed work of collecting eggs, the measured routines that make a life. This, she says, may be the last clutch of hens for the season. The camera catches the light on a basket of eggs, the tilt of an old wooden gate, the steam of rice cooking somewhere off frame. NHI, Lee calls, gentle and instructive. Get up. It's time to get ready. We'll go to the market to sell eggs. NHI, a small girl with a patient, trusting face, obeys. The scene lingers on ordinary acts. The way NHI brushes her teeth with concentration, the guidance to brush top and bottom, inside and out, the playful praise for her long hair as someone ties it back. These details anchor the story in the tender, domestic textures that matter most to a child. They prepare together. Lee helps fasten a ribbon, NHI nods solemnly. I'll go with you to the market, Deep, she says, the child's voice carrying equality and pride in serving the household. Yes, comes the reply, you'll sell with me. They step out together, small feet on a dirt path. But the ordinary is soon pierced by a flurry of concern. At some point, the house is locked. Where has Deep gone? NHI calls, laughter turning thin with worry. Deep? Deep, where are you? The house is locked. The air shifts. People gather. Questions, about the past, about obligations, slip into the conversation with a bluntness that contrasts with earlier domestic softness. Why didn't you come before to claim the child? Someone asks in a tone that is more accusatory than curious. The reply is practical. Life used to be too busy. Now, finally, the family has the bandwidth to take responsibility. We had a lot of work before, the woman explains. Now we've set things in order. I can come to take the child. The explanation calms some, but the shadow of the question remains. Why now, and what does coming to claim the child mean, in a world where affection and legal responsibility can sometimes be sold for the right price? A hush gives way to a sharp, businesslike moment. The camera pulls in close to a phone, an exchange of numbers, a confirmation, 100 million Vietnamese dongs transferred. The voice on the call is brisk, certain. If you succeed in bringing NHI home to be raised, the woman says in a tone that tries to mix affection and formality, I'll give an additional 200 million Vietnamese dongs. The phrase lands like a statement of intent and concern both. She is my grandchild, I must take responsibility. A whispered instruction follows, secrecy. Remember, don't tell anyone. Language that's tender about blood becomes transactional, and the juxtaposition is hard to miss. Yet life in the village is the everyday that gathers them back. They return to the market stall. Eggs arranged like small moons, the exchange of coins, 2,500 Vietnamese dongs per egg, a friendly barter. NHI plays a game James taught her, small, bright moments of childhood. Jump here, throw the ball there, the delighted applause when she gets it right. These scenes are full of the kind of small joys that make ordinary surviving worth the fight. Are you tired? Someone asks. No, comes the quick, cheerful answer. A lull follows, then the simple choreography of washing hands, drinking water, making lunch. And yet, between the laughter and gentle scolding, the question of James hangs over everything like an absent guest. Why didn't James come today? NHI asks plainly, the hope in her voice folded into a child's straightforward worry. Does he not love me? Her anxiety is immediate and literal. The absence of a grown man becomes the caloric worry of a little heart. The adults try to soothe. He's busy with work, one says, as if that alone should settle the mind. When he has time, he will come. But the reassurance feels thin. Phones are pulled out. Let me call James, Lee offers, hopeful, a last-ditch attempt to stitch the day back into the fabric of their lives. The recorded answer meets them first, please leave a message. The message is small evidence of a larger distance, charged minutes, missed calls, the hum of busy lines. Later, when the message finally gets through, the truth emerges. James is on a business trip, far away, unreachable for long stretches. The story's center is not a villain, but a tension, the friction between duty, the obligations of work and status, and the domestic claims that pull at the edges of every day. James is a CEO, a man whose time is rationed by meetings, flights and deadlines. He speaks in pragmatic snippets over the phone. I must finish this work. When it's done, I will come home. There is a fierce, apologetic earnestness in him. I can lose everything, but I will never lose deep in NHI, he insists, the line static with the tired conviction of a man trying not to let his work become a wedge. But words, when transmitted over distance and poor reception, become insufficient currency for the anxieties left behind. Nyi's child logic asks only whether he loves her enough to cross a threshold. For the adults, the stakes are more complex. The grandmother's monetary pledge, the past delays in family paperwork, the rumors and questions among neighbors. Each scene rearranges the same triangle: love, duty, survival, under different lights. They return home to small domestic rituals, cutting beans at a market stall, sharing fruit. An elderly neighbor remarks on the sweetness of grapes handed with a child's solemn delight. It's the texture of normal life, the picking of vegetables, the rinsing of hands, the small, exacting care that shapes evenings around a simple meal. NHI proposes to share her snack. The exchange is generous, immediate. Eat with me, she says, an invitation that comes unconsciously, as if hospitality and kinship are the default modes of the world. As the day closes, a lull settles. They cook and eat, bathe and prepare for sleep. There are practical moments: I'll bathe you later, we'll save room for dinner, that feel like liturgy. Yet the doubt returns. At one point, a woman hisses a question under her breath: why does he always make things difficult for us? It is a question aimed not at a person but at the tangled machinery of choice, the decisions that lead someone to favor work over the warmth of home. Late in the evening, with the night thicker and phone signals more fickle, Lee tries James again. The voice, when it comes, is apologetic but resolute. He is on a remote trip, the kind that requires distance and sacrifice. I'm so sorry I couldn't answer earlier, he says, the kind of apology that carries the weary weight of having to choose. He makes promises. He will return when his work permits. He misses them both. He wants to be back with them soon. There is tenderness in his voice and an urgency in hers. They trade small details: did you eat? Is NHI sleeping? Until the call ends with the hope of tomorrow. After the line falls quiet, there is a private vow. I must complete my work to go back to deep in NHI, James says, a quiet commitment that frames his sacrifices as the necessary costs of a future reunion. I can lose everything except them, he tells a friend, or perhaps himself. That sentence crystallizes the entire conflict, the paradox of a man who will risk all material success to keep the two people who stand at the center of his life. The film never shades him purely as a villain. Instead, he appears as a man compressed by competing obligations, striving to maintain what matters while swamped by the demands that come with his position. Lee, for her part, oscillates between confident caretaker and exhausted lover. NHI, the pure heart at the center, asks only to be seen and assured. The camera lingers, finally, on the open gate and the small bed where NHI sleeps. The last image is not an answer but a question. Will the cost of James's ambition be measured in distance and absence, or will the thread of their attachment hold against the pull of the outside world? Will the grandmother's money complicate what should be love and legal duty? Will the promises spoken over a crackly line be enough? The narrative leaves us there, suspended, intimate scenes of everyday life held against the wider pressures of ambition, obligation, and the kind of secrecy that money can buy. It asks, without preaching, whether love is enough when work demands most of a person's attention. It also asks whether money and timing can rewrite family claims that once seemed certain, and at what price. So the final image is quiet, a child breathing in sleep and a woman watching over her, but the question at the finale is anything but small. Will the CEO, James, lose Deep or NHI? Or, in the most fearful possibility, will he lose them both?